Carlos, and this is my status report for this week. So first off, we have the presentation here. I'm on track. I've been working around 10 hours, 30 in total. This is my estimated total hours for completion. I have approximate numbers here. Honestly, I think it's going to take me less time than that. So last week, accomplishments, documentation update. I was able to add the code for the Identity API MVC. That's for the models, the views, and the controllers, all the code, and the styling required for the views. I fixed multiple different bugs, and I was able to identify future features I would like to add to the project. Next week I will be fix some pending bugs I found, and I will integrate Identity API to the API layer of the template. Challenges and blockers. Honestly, I don't have any so far, except for a bug that is not allowing the authentication of the users at some point in the code, which I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes. I don't have questions and I don't have comments. So let's take a look to the actual code and the demo. So during this week, starting on 19th, I was able to work in the account controller. This is from last week. I rarely have any changes. As you can see, let me see. These are very small changes I've been doing to the project while I was adding, after adding all the users' views, which I would be able to use as an admin. That's something I'll be working next week. I didn't notice that because I need to adapt the application permissions to work with the part I have already set for the users' CRUD operations. Right now, what I've been working this week is in making it work for a contact example that I've been working on from this tutorial in Learn Microsoft. So I've included all of these into the project as a working example. So one of the things I've been doing is in moving. I made some little changes to the way the application works. I moved everything from the program file, the service configuration, and the pipeline, the request pipeline configuration. I moved that to a different file. I reduced everything to this, and right now everything is working from this class. As you can see, I move into a startup. then this is going to build the application, right, during compilation time. Then I'm going to build the application and retrieve this configuration that I will later use in different places here at the runtime, because this is not going to work until runtime. So then I'm going to run the services. Let me see where I have configuration here. For example, here I'm going to get that URL from that variable, and also I'm going to configure the request pipeline at the runtime again using this method. That's something I was able to learn from the documentation while I was learning how Identity API is implemented in the official repository. But the work I've been doing during this week, for the most part, other than this, which is really important, honestly, is on this commit. In this one, I've been doing a lot of work, including new files, as you can see, and doing some important modifications to the startup file, for example. I've included user secrets to the project, and the handlers and services necessary for the application to work with users and roles. Here I'm using the secret from the .NET toolchain, and I'm using that information into the database initialization. Let me see really quick. Let me show you really quick. These are some of the modifications I've done. I've included this example for contacts there. And right now I was working on that, on other changes, the fresh ones, because I found some mistakes, errors in the code. I have three main user roles, which are regular users, managers, and admins. And I've been doing that work with user secrets, which, as you can see, let me show you. I have their working already set for the project. So this is the password I have set for every user. So now we're going to make it run. I think that next week is going to take me some time to set up the users, to include all these new feature into the already existing user controller. which in my case I'm calling admin controller. Right now it's freezing a little during the compilation. Sorry for that. I have a lot of different programs open right now. Oh, come on. What is the problem with this? Let me see. Okay, so I was able to make it work. Let's take a look at this. I have different sections. I'm going to hide this one next week. Oh, what happened? Okay, so the problem was that I had forgotten to update the database using the entity framework tool. So as you can see, I have different sections. I still need to hide this one from not logged users. This one I can keep it as a public example. Now if I try to move onto these other sections, as you can see, they are not available because they're protected. So when I log in as a user, let's see, I should be able to see to access the different sections. I still need to change permissions for this section because this one should be accessible only to the manager. But sections like this one, for examples, are depending on the roles, they will be accessible to the different user roles. So right now we have 14 rows here. We're going to create a new one. We're going to fill it with new data. Now we have 15. We are able to delete. We're going to delete to Sarah. Now Sarah is not here anymore. Now as you can see, we can see 14 items. Now if we log in again, let's say using the admin role, we have more users because the admin has access to additional rows. The users have different permissions, and now I need to work on these sections because I'm not able to access to these buttons, because when I'm using this authorization service, I'm sending the wrong model. It is expecting a contact model from the database, but I am sending to it this contact view model, which is the one I'm using for displaying the data. So I have the contact controller. I want to show you that. Here I have everything I need for this example, because that's what it is. I have all the different methods. It took me a lot of time following the example from the repository example to to my project because in the repository example the application was made using Razor pages, so I need to move everything to the MVC structure. So what else? So I think that's it for this week. Thank you for watching.